Hey, this is Joe from SoFly, and in this video, we are going to cover importing basic fields in metabox using WP All Import. So to get started, we'll go down here to All Import and select New Import. And then I'm going to upload a file, and we will select my import file over here. And we have some other options. Check out our YouTube channel, check out our documentation. We have a lot more videos that go over downloading a file, using existing files, new items, existing items. In this video, we're just doing a very quick run through on how basic fields work. All right, now I'll select my custom post type down here, my metabox CPT, and we'll continue to step 2. This is the first post from my file, and we'll continue to step 3. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just drag over the title, and then we'll go down here to the metabox add-ons section. Now this is my metabox data, and these are all the fields that I've set up. And you can see I've set them up over here in metabox, and they're really simple, right? It's just a text field, checkbox list, etc., right? All the basic fields that we're going to cover. And then in my data, the data lines up nicely, right? So go ahead and drag this over for our text field. Text fields are very basic. It's just a single line of text. Now, another thing to keep in mind here is, my data lines up really nicely. I have a text area, stuff like that. That's just for this video. WP All Import does not care how your data is set up. It really doesn't matter. You're just going to drag and drop from the right over here to the left and tell WP All Import exactly how to process this data. So you can import any file in any format into any set of metabox fields using WP All Import. All right, so we did our text field. Now we'll do our text area field. And our text area field is basically the same as a text field, except the only difference is it can have multiple lines. Now in these text fields, we can drag over any number of data, right? So I could, if I had multiple fields from my file that I wanted to drag over, I can put them in, right? And they'll be just like that. I can also add static text like this. And I can also process this data here with a PHP function. Now, again, check out our documentation, check out our YouTube channel. We have videos that go into using PHP in WP All Import in great detail. In this video, we're just going to stick to the basics for these basic fields. So we have our text field, we have our text area field done. Moving along, we have our checkboxes. Now, let's take a look at how this looks in WordPress. So I'm going to edit. This is a manually added post that I created with some data in it. Now, the checkbox field and the checkbox list field, they're pretty similar. The difference, obviously, is a checkbox list field in metabox allows you to have multiple checkboxes, right? And WP All Import handles them slightly differently. So in this post, I can manually just select the checkbox field, and I can manually, in WP All Import, do the same thing. I can just select the value for all records. There's my checkbox, check it. Now when I run this import, all of these posts, all 1,000 of my posts, are going to have this checkbox field filled. However, you might notice here, this checkbox field is blank, and this one over here, number 2, is not, right? So some of my posts have the checkbox clicked, some of them don't. So we want to set with XPath. Now, in set with XPath, the way this works for the checkbox field is if this is blank, the checkbox is going to be unchecked. If there is a string here, any value, then the checkbox will be checked. So you can see here in my data, I have a little X there. This one's checked. This one's not checked. So we'll drag over this, and there we go. Now, let's say you're using the checkbox to determine if a post is going to be featured on the site. You check the checkbox, it's featured. You uncheck the checkbox and it's not featured. And then in your data, you have a little item here called featured status. And then the data in the cell for that is going to say featured or not featured, right? So you have a string in either case. Well, in WP All Import, you can just pass that through a PHP function, use str replace, and if it says not featured, make it blank, and if it says featured, make it checked. So again, check out our documentation, check out our YouTube channel. We have videos that go over PHP functions and some of the other ways you might handle that depending on how your data is set up. But again, it's important to remember, it doesn't matter how the data is set up in your file. It's always possible to run your import. The only question is how. All right, so let's move along. We have our checkbox list. Again, we can select the value for all records. So if I just want it set up like this for all of my posts, great. However, you can see here, it's different for all my posts, right? In the checkbox list field, and some of them have 2. So we'll use set with XPath. With set with XPath, we can specify the value in multiple values, and they just need to be comma delimited like that. Now, again, maybe your data doesn't look exactly like this. Maybe it's not all pretty. You can set this up using custom PHP functions very easily in WPL import if you have to process your data in some way during the import to get this to work. And of course, if you have any questions or any problems or you need some help, send a message to our support team and we'll be happy to walk you through it. All right, next up we have a radio field. Radio fields, once again, they work just the same, right? We can select the value for all records or we can set with XPath. And the set with XPath, it's the exact same as the checkbox list fields. The only difference is in metabox, it's a radio field, so you can't really select 2 of the options. So you notice here in all of my data, we either have it's either blank or radio 1 or radio 2. And these labels correspond to the labels here that I have in my fields, right? So again, maybe in your case, maybe the data doesn't match, and in which case you can just use some PHP functions to get that set up. All right, so drag over my radio fields, and finally select. Select is basically the exact same as a radio field in terms of importing it. The only difference is that metabox on the back end is going to display a select field instead of a radio field, obviously. All right, so we'll select set with XPath and then drag in my data. All right, so that's it. We're all good. We'll continue to step 4. We'll click auto detect for the unique identifier. And then down here, we have some options for rerunning the import. Again, our YouTube channel, our documentation goes into all of this in great detail. Scheduling options, same thing. If you have to run your import on a schedule every Monday, every Tuesday, once a month, once a week, etc., once every hour, you can set that up in here. We have a couple different scheduling options. They're very easy to use. We have a lot of content in our documentation about this that goes over it, how-to guides, etc., and videos on our YouTube channel. So check those out if you're interested. Same with advanced settings for troubleshooting and such. All right, so we will continue and confirm and run the import. And this is just going to take a few seconds to run, so we'll let it go. And then we'll go ahead and check out what has been imported on the back end. All right, so that's all completed. Let's go over here and check these out. We'll sort these just to make them nice. All right, so there we go. And let me sort those. There we go. All right, so we have a manually added post over here. And let's just open a few of these up and check out what WPL import has imported for me. And you can see it's imported all 1,000 of them. We have 1,001 items that are now in this custom post type. 1,001 being the extra 1 being my manually added post. All right, so here it is. This is my manually added post, and I'm just going to go through these tabs. Here's post number 1. You can see we have the multiple lines for the text area, checkbox unchecked. There we go. And no radio option selected for that one. Radio 2, choice fields, checkboxes, select one down there. And there we go, right? All of our posts. So that is all it takes to import the basic fields with metabox using WPL import. Check out our YouTube channel, check out our documentation. We have a lot of content that goes a lot deeper into WPL import, metabox, and really walks you through the entire process, start to finish, using a real-world example. So in this video, we just wanted to give you a short, quick overview of these fields and how they work. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.